Welcome back, my dear Scorpio. I am Zelina Hart. If this message has found its way to you now, in this exact moment of your life, then it is not by chance. Something ancient and wise within you has already begun to stir gently, but undeniably. And though the world around you may not see it yet, your soul knows. A quiet transformation has taken place, not with fireworks or grand declarations, but deep beneath the surface, where only you could feel it and only the universe could witness it. You are not confused, you are not lost, you are awakening. There is a sacred pulse inside your chest that beats differently now, a rhythm that no longer matches the cycles you've been trapped in for far too long. You've shed an old version of yourself, one that carried silent burdens, kept the peace in chaos, and wore resilience like armor just to survive. That version of you bowed, endured, disappeared into shadows so others could feel safe in the light, but not anymore. The world may still call out your old name, expecting your old reactions, craving your old silence. But the truth is, you've outgrown the character you once played. The pain, the sacrifices, the internal wars, they were not in vain. They were initiations. And now, dear Scorpio, you are standing on the other side of a sacred threshold that few ever reach. You've emerged from your own ashes. You have survived your own ending. And now, something powerful is being born. So take a breath with me. Feel it, the shift in your lungs, the soft fire rising in your belly, the knowing that something irreversible has changed. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about proving anything. What you're feeling now is liberation, a release from the illusion that you must carry it all alone, a purification, a rebirth. And in the days ahead, the universe will not whisper, it will show you. Through undeniable signs, through moments that leave you breathless, it will confirm what your soul already knows. You no longer belong to your old life, and everything that isn't aligned with who you've become will begin to fall away. This, Scorpio, is where your real journey begins, and you won't have to fight for recognition. You won't have to speak loudly to be heard, because the truth of who you are now will speak for itself. Let me show you what's coming. Let me show you how the universe is rearranging everything in your favor. Your new chapter begins now. The old cycle you've carried, Scorpio, was not just a season, it was a crucible. It was forged from memories that splintered your heart in silence. It was built on fragile alliances, emotional debts you never signed for, and the constant pressure to keep breathing in rooms that drained your life force drop by drop. You became the protector, the forgiver, the keeper of peace in storms that weren't yours to calm. You wore masks that smiled when you were breaking inside. You said, "I'm fine," when your spirit was quietly bleeding. And for a long time, that was survival. For a long time, you convinced yourself that enduring was a form of love, that disappearing into duty was noble, that silence was strength. But something has shifted. Your soul has reached a saturation point, a quiet, cosmic, no more. You've come to the edge of what you can carry without losing yourself entirely. The pretending, the pleasing, the enduring, without question, it no longer holds. Not because you've become bitter or hardened, but because you've awakened to the truth. You were never meant to shrink to survive. You were meant to rise, to unearth your voice from beneath the rubble, to stop kneeling in spaces that only tolerated your silence but feared your power. And so, the universe-wise, unflinching, and irrevocably on your side, will not let you linger one moment longer in places that dishonor your evolution. Liberation is coming, but not as a whisper, not as a soft exit. What's arriving is a holy purge, a cosmic fire that will burn through what is false, stagnant, expired. It will look like endings. It will feel like loss. It may shake the foundations of the life you carefully constructed just to feel safe. But Scorpio, you must understand this. What is being removed now is not punishment. It is precision. It is prophecy. It is preparation for the next chapter that requires your soul to be unburdened and unapologetically whole. People will leave not because you failed, but because they no longer resonate with your frequency. Doors will close not to trap you, but to redirect you. Situations will collapse that were held together only by your effort and not by mutual energy. And in that space, in that sacred emptiness, something miraculous will enter. What is aligned with your healed self will find you relationships that are rooted in truth, opportunities that mirror your depth, invitations that honor your soul's language without distortion. This transition won't ask you to fight. It will ask you to allow, to release your grip on what is familiar but no longer true. To trust that this unraveling is not chaos, it is sacred orchestration. Everything is being rearranged so that the life that matches your frequency has space to land. You are not being stripped bare to suffer. You are being cleared for arrival. And what's coming for you, Scorpio, is not small. It is not subtle. It is not another test. It is the reward for every silent night you held yourself through. It is the mirror that finally reflects you as you are now unmasked, untamed, and fully risen. In the coming weeks, a quiet unraveling will begin. Not with drama, not with fireworks, but with undeniable clarity. One by one, the threads of your old life will loosen not because you forced them to, but because they no longer have anything to hold on to. You will notice that certain relationships begin to dissolve gently, almost without confrontation. People who once occupied space in your world will start to fade, not with resentment, but with a silent understanding that the bond has served its purpose. There will be no need for long explanations or dramatic goodbyes. The distance will speak for itself, and your soul will feel lighter. In their place, something extraordinary will begin to emerge. New invitations will arrive not because you went searching, but because your frequency has shifted. Collaborations, connections, conversations, they will flow to you effortlessly, as if they had been waiting on the other side of your healing. You will feel drawn toward people who reflect your inner truth, not your past wounds, and you won't need to explain yourself. These are the souls who already speak your unspoken language. There will be romantic energy that feels different, less of a chase, more of a resonance. Projects that appear not because you pushed, but because you finally aligned. You will also find that your emotional landscape has changed. Those battles you once felt compelled to fight, the energy wars, the power struggles, the silent wars of loyalty and expectation, will no longer seduce your attention. Not because you're disengaged, but because you've evolved beyond the need to prove your depth. Where once you may have defended yourself fiercely or tried to fix what was broken, now you will simply walk away. Not in anger, but in peace. You will choose calm over chaos, truth over performance, silence over the need to be right. And that choice over and over again will become your most radical act of power. But perhaps the most beautiful shift of all is this. You will stop needing proof from the outside world. You will no longer measure your worth by who chooses you, who praises you, or who understands you. Because that old craving to be seen, validated, approved, has dissolved into something much greater. Inner knowing. The confirmation you've waited for will no longer be external. It will rise quietly from within, like a flame that cannot be extinguished. You will walk into rooms knowing exactly who you are, and you will no longer look for mirrors in other people's eyes. You'll feel it in your bones that you've returned to yourself, that you no longer need to perform your power, because your presence is the proof, that you no longer seek to earn love, because you now know what you are worthy of receiving. And in that knowing, Scorpio, is your liberation. You are no longer afraid of the dark, Scorpio, because darkness has become something sacred to you. It is not the place where you were shattered, but where you were sculpted. Not the place where you disappeared, but where you discovered parts of yourself that no light ever dared to reveal. While others fled from discomfort, you sat in it. While others begged for clarity, you held hands with uncertainty. While others looked for escape, you stayed, and you listened, and you learned. The nights that almost broke you turned into altars of remembrance, and in the silence where no one else could reach you, you became your own sanctuary. That is why no one, not the people who left, not the ones who judged, not the ones who never saw your full depth, can take from you what you earned there. You emerged from the wreckage, not begging for understanding, not needing pity or redemption, but carrying a truth so powerful it no longer needed to be proven. You do not have to go back. You do not have to wear the mask. You do not need to soften your voice or your instincts just to be palatable. You have already chosen yourself. And in doing so, you've broken every invisible chain that once held you to a version of life that demanded your silence in exchange for survival. If this message finds you in this precise moment, it is not coincidence. It is cosmic invitation. It is the universe whispering through every cell of your being. You are ready. You are ready to live a life that is not built on compensating for your past, but on creating from your essence. You are ready to love without armor, not because you are nave, but because your discernment is now so refined that it no longer needs protection, it simply needs presence. You are ready to step into a kind of leadership that doesn't dominate but liberates, that doesn't instruct but inspires, simply by embodying your truth without dilution. You do not need to rehearse your worth. You do not need to prove that you've healed. Your energy speaks louder than any narrative ever could. You carry the weight of your story not as baggage, but as bone-deep knowing. You have nothing left to prove because you have already become. And so now, Scorpio, the only question that remains is, will you trust this unfolding? Will you trust that this version of you, the one who has felt everything, lost everything, questioned everything, and still chose to rise, is exactly the version the world has been waiting for? Because this is not a return, it is not a repeat, it is a rebirth, and not one shaped by resistance, but by radical truth. Not one driven by pain, but led by purpose. The days ahead will not require your defenses. They will require your devotion to the life that finally feels like home in your body, your breath, your choices. You are not a supporting character anymore. You are not waiting in the wings, wondering when the light will find you. You are the light. You are the lead. And the show that is about to begin, it was always yours. So if you felt it, this soft but certain shift within you, this quiet knowing that you can't go back, that you won't shrink again, that you're no longer who you used to be, then trust that feeling. It is real. It is sacred. It is your soul confirming what the stars have long known. Your old story is complete. And the new one? It doesn't require struggle to be valid. It doesn't need permission to begin. It only needs you to be here, fully present, fully you. Let this be your reminder that you are not late. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are right on time for the life that was always meant for you, but could only begin once you became this version of yourself, clear, raw, and radiant from within. So take one final breath with me, Scorpio, not to let go of the past because you already have, but to welcome what's next, with grace, with power, with both feet planted in your truth. Because this time, you don't enter the story as the one healing. You enter as the one who has healed and is now ready to lead, to love, and to live freely. And remember, when the world tries to pull you back into the old play, you don't belong there anymore. The universe will keep proving that again and again until you believe it in your bones. You've already crossed the threshold, and now it's time to rise.